"Why didn't you drive?" my dad asked, staring at me in the hospital hallway, and before I could stop myself I said, "Because his mother took my car keys to keep me controlled." The words landed heavier than the four-pole beside me. My husband was 10 feet away, pretending to scroll through his phone. He didn't look up. That's when I knew this wasn't a misunderstanding. It was policy. I'm 32. I work as a project coordinator for a logistics firm in Columbus. I'd been married to Evan for 7 years. We lived in a tidy townhouse his parents helped us buy, close enough for his mother, Ruth, to drop by. She never knocked. She reorganized drawers, commented on my clothes, and asked Evan why dinner wasn't ready yet, as if I were a teenager borrowing her son for the evening. The distance didn't arrive with shouting. It arrived with quiet permissions. Evan started checking with her before making plans. He handed her our budget to help us save. When my car needed repairs, she insisted on managing it. I didn't notice when my independence thinned, one courtesy at a time. The night before the hospital, I'd asked Evan for the keys. I had a migraine and needed medication. Ruth smiled and said she'd drive me if necessary. Necessary, to her, meant approved. Evan shrugged. "It's late," he said. "She's just trying to help." The betrayal revealed itself the next morning, not in a bed or a phone, but in a folder Ruth left on our counter. Inside were printouts of my work emails she'd somehow accessed through Evan's laptop, notes about my attitude, and a handwritten plan titled Structure. It listed curfews, spending limits, and transport oversight until compliance improves. I sat there reading my own life as a corrective program. When Evan came home, I didn't raise my voice. I slid the folder across the table. "Explain this." He didn't touch it. "She's worried about you," he said. "You've been resistant." "Resistant to what?" I asked. "To guidance," he replied, eyes steady. "We're a family. You don't get to do whatever you want." I laughed once, sharp and small. "You let your mother take my car." He finally met my eyes. "You were getting ideas," he said. "This keeps things calm." That was the brutal truth. Not that he didn't love me. That I was convenient. Containable. A role that worked better when supervised. I slept on the couch that night, staring at the ceiling, realizing how often I'd asked permission for my own life. The next morning, my head pounded and my vision blurred. Ruth took the keys. Evan went to work. I took an ambulance. At the hospital, after my dad's question, Evan tried to spin it. "She's exaggerating," he said softly. "She gets emotional." I looked at him and felt something settle. Not anger. Clarity. "Give me my keys," I said. He hesitated. Ruth shook her head. "This isn't the time." That was the moment I stopped begging. I asked the nurse for a social worker. I called my employer and explained I'd need remote access temporarily. I signed a short-term lease that afternoon with my dad as co-signer. It wasn't dramatic. It was paperwork. The resolution didn't come with apologies. Evan sent texts about misunderstandings and stress. Ruth left voicemails about family unity. I didn't respond. I picked up my things when they weren't home. I returned the townhouse keys and kept my own. Months later, I drive myself everywhere. My life is quieter. Smaller in some ways. Bigger where it matters. I learned that control can wear a helpful smile, and betrayal doesn't always involve another body. Sometimes it's the slow theft of your autonomy. If you're listening and something in your life requires permission to exist, that's your signal. Love shouldn't need supervision. Healing starts when you take your keys back.